Andrew Lan is an amazing concept artist, senior artist at Warner Brother Games, and he used to be a 3D code user, but later he switched to Adobe Medium VR. And in this talk, we discuss the differences between these two softwares and why he decided to switch. We also talk about NFTs. He got like a 10,000 NFT collection, and also brushed a little bit on the AI subject as well. During the talk, he's modeling a little robot, and it was quite cool to see his process happening during the conversation.
All right, hello everybody, Anthony here, and we have Andrew Lan here. I hope I told your name right.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, and
Just
Andrew right
Andre is
now,
fine.
Andrew, yeah. Andrew is connected to the VR headset, and he's already shown some VR demos how he's doing this little robot. So, Andrew, how long have you been in how long have you been in 3D or 2D art in general?
I've been a concept artist for 7-8 years, and then I've been doing it like almost exclusively in 3D for 4 years, maybe 5 years.
Mhm.
Um,
And
I,
you're at Warner Brothers, right? Or
yeah,
the
yeah.
way?
I'm on
Yeah. Uh,
Warner Brothers. Currently working on Gotham Knights. It's
Oh,
releasing
nice.
very soon.
Yeah.
I'm excited
Yeah.
about that.
So, and do you use Medium much at work at the moment as well, or
Yep.
yeah? So is it like would you say it's like Medium, Blender, 3D code?
Almost exclusively Medium, and then I
Mhm.
render in Keyshot. But all my
Yeah, and
concept is all in Medium. I sketch a little bit in Photoshop, but really not that
mhm.
much. I think
All right.
95% of stuff is all in Medium.
And do you do like everything, environment, concepts, characters, robots, props?
Uh, I specialize in vehicles, robots, and props and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So I don't really do as much character and environments, but yeah, what I do at work is almost only mecha and props, guns,
Mhm.
vehicles, all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. And uh, I will overlay like a screen here, like about NFTs. So,
Yep.
and also you also did a whole bunch of NFTs. I saw you did like 10,000 on OpenSea, and that
Yep.
looked like a successful project. How did you come about doing that?
I started in during the pandemic doing NFTs. So I was doing it by myself at first, and then I met some people online, and then we started the animal project, and then that went really well, and we're still
Yeah,
working on that.
yeah,
Super fun project, and team is really cool.
oh, that's really cool. Yeah, so we have this podcast because originally we used 3D code like say back 2-3 years ago,
Yep.
or and so what made you switch from 3D code to Medium?
Um, it was kind of random. I just picked up a headset one day, and then I was like,
Mm,
"Oh, I'm gonna try to sculpt something."
mhm,
And I really enjoy working in 3D code because it was voxels, and
mhm,
then Medium is the same way. It's still
mm.
voxels, so like you can sculpt away at stuff.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
works
yeah.
kind of the same way. It's just
Uh,
I find it so much faster for concept. Like I can make
mhm,
stuff really, really quickly, and for concept, speed is really important. So that's what made me switch. I
mm.
find it just more like free to sketch in VR
Y-
than on a
y-
screen.
Yeah, so what I find myself doing often, like just switching to like top view, left view, right in 3D code,
Yep.
doing something. And here you don't have to do that, right? So you don't have to.
Yeah, I can
Uh-huh,
sculpt something on top and then go underneath. I
Yeah.
don't need to like
Uh, uh,
isolate the part and then go sculpt. I can
uh-huh.
just directly go under the thing and then
Yeah.
start sculpting.
And did you ever think about, say, you do a sketch here, but then you do a final polish or like semi-final polish in 3D code? Did you ever had the need to do that?
Uh,
Mhm,
I tried it. Also tried it
mhm,
in ZBrush, but
mhm,
at the end of the day, I don't really need it. Everything that needs to be really polished, I can either
mhm.
paint on it or I can give it to a 3D modeler that will just
Yeah,
take the mesh and then do the high res directly from the
yeah,
mesh. So
uh,
it's super useful in the production pipeline
mm,
because you don't need to give like a top view and then side view and then
mm.
different views to your
Yeah.
modeler. You can just give the like the mesh itself and then they can design on top of it.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting. So because I guess I myself I like to do more like a semi-finished piece, so that's why
Yep.
I'm still a bit hesitant to jump on sketching the shapes like that. But I should definitely go and try. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I really wish that if 3D Code had some kind of VR capability,
Oh, for
to
sure.
do
I
this.
love that.
Yeah. So I guess one thing what I like about 3D Code and what I can see you doing here is that you're not really using that many tools, right?
No, no.
Use
It's just like one square brush. It's my
mhm,
favorite brush that I made.
mhm.
It's just like the shape.
Yeah.
But I have a bunch of like different brushes that I made to sculpt stuff,
Mhm,
and yeah, the tools are pretty limited. Like there's not a ton of them, but
mhm.
they work super well together. Like if you look at this, it's only
Yeah.
a couple tools.
Mhm.
I use this, which is like the sphere brush or the clay
Yeah.
brush. This is like the pose tool in 3D Code. You can like
Mhm.
stretch stuff, you know.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And
this or
yeah,
you can deform
yeah.
it.
What's the resolution like, or how big is the model? It looks like maybe like 500,000 right now of triangles. If you look.
Yeah, something like that.
Mhm,
If I ever need to clean something up, and then I'll like take this part and then I can upres it and
mhm,
then sculpt more details on it.
mhm.
Usually my finished sculpts are around 20 million to 40
Mm,
million for like
all
a
right.
fully done piece.
Yeah, and it's like, does it have a lag at all?
No. The
No.
only time when it really starts lagging is because there's a limit of the layers, and then
Mhm.
there's too many layers, and then it'll start
Oh, I see.
lagging. But
Mm,
most of the time, if you manage your resolution properly, and then but it's the same in 3D Code, right? If
yeah,
like one layer is not like times 16 resolution, and
yeah,
then everything's super high res,
yeah,
everything's fine. You just need
yeah,
to manage your stuff
yeah,
properly.
yeah. There's a little bit of a lag. It goes. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool. And we've just been talking about it before podcast that you were mentioning that now Adobe is moving to Substance Medium, right? And they
Yeah, it's Substance Modeler.
Substance
Um,
model, Substance
it's
model.
gonna integrate with their whole substance suite, so for like the
Yeah.
texture and all that stuff.
And did you
um
play much with it as well?
yeah, I played with it quite a bit. I'm still using medium because I find it more refined as a product.
Mhm.
Modeler is still in beta, so there's some
Yeah.
glitches and there's some weird stuff happening, and then the tools aren't as straightforward as a
Mhm.
medium.
Yeah, that's what I thought about because I looked at a couple of YouTube videos and it looked like you just have to press a lot more buttons, right?
Yeah,
Like you have to press that,
yeah,
press
it's
this.
it's just not as polished.
Yeah.
For sure, one day it will be, and then I'll
Mhm.
make the switch.
Okay.
Every
Yeah.
new update that they have, I try it out, and then I see if
Yeah.
it's like workable. But when I just need to get something done,
Yeah. Yeah.
I go in medium because like it's second nature. Like I don't have to think about the buttons. I just
Yeah.
do stuff.
Yeah. And you were saying that the modeler became more of a major focus right now for Adobe. That now they're not really updating much of the medium.
Yeah. There's no
Uh,
updates for
yeah.
medium,
Yeah.
but it's still
Yeah.
usable and it's free. So
Yeah. And how long did it take you to get like proficient with medium?
you can get proficient really fast because there's not a ton of tools, right? You're just sculpting what's in your
Yeah.
head. So if you're good
Yeah.
at sculpting, you can just
Yeah.
it's like playing with
Sure.
Legos.
Yeah.
um
You would say like a couple hours, even like in 1 day, 2 days, or
yeah, I
like
mean
a
a couple days, and then you
couple
can
days.
make
Yeah.
pretty much whatever you want, and
Yeah.
then to get really good and forget the tools, like after a month
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just do
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's pretty fast. Nowadays, you now recommend more like medium if there's kind of some concept artist comes up to you and says like, "Oh, I want to switch to 3D." Would you be like, "Oh, go learn Blender, learn 3D code, or learn Medium, or uh, or
yeah, it depends on your workflow, honestly.
mhm,
If for me it's medium because
mm,
it's the tool that I like the most, but
mhm,
some people like sketching, and then some
mm,
people who do environments, it's probably better Blender. because you have textures and then you have volumetric fog and all that stuff. But for what I do, it's more object based or like props. So I like this because for me it's like I'm playing with a figurine, right? I'm playing with a Lego or toys, so it's easy to like move the parts around and then pulse them and all that stuff. So
yeah. And I imagine like you have a really good feel of the scale, right?
yeah,
Once
exactly. You can make stuff really big, you can make stuff really
yeah,
small, have it in your
yeah,
hand.
yeah.
That's one thing that's really good, especially if you're designing like guns and that stuff. You can hold the gun like in your hand. Let's say you make a
Yeah,
handle, you have the
yeah,
scale of your handle on your hand,
yeah.
so it's
Oh yeah,
easy
that's
to
really
like
cool.
aim down sight. Or even if you're making a mech, you can like sit inside of it
Oh
and
yeah,
then you
yeah.
can start the
I
design, like
yeah, you can do the cabin, right? You can do the
yeah,
inside. Oh,
you can
okay.
design around you and
Yeah,
then it's
yeah. I can say a lot of intuitive kind of interaction, right?
yeah, exactly.
And have you ever got any dizziness or issues like that working in Medium for a long time?
At first, when I started, yes, because I was spending like 8 hours and then
Eight
not taking
hours.
breaks. I was so
Yeah,
excited.
yeah,
But
yeah,
if you take breaks every hour or so, you should be fine.
yeah. And what headset are you using right now?
Right now, I'm using an old one. It's a Rift S, but on my
Yes.
work computer, I have a Quest 2. And then I
Uh,
think
qu-
there's a new one coming soon, so I
uh,
might get that
so,
one.
but Quest, it's independent, right? It's not dependent.
Uh,
It's not connected to the computer, or is it?
oh, to use Medium, you still need to connect it either
Mhm,
with a wire or
mhm.
with streaming.
Yeah,
So you don't need to be plugged in. You can use it like wireless, but
yeah.
you still
But
need like the
uh,
processing power of your computer to
yeah,
use it.
I'll say. But I imagine wire would be faster, right? Less laggy, or
It's
is it
about the same.
about the same?
The frame rate becomes an issue when you're playing a lot of games, and then you need like fast pace, like if you're playing like shooters or racing
Mhm,
games. But for stuff that you're just sitting down and then sculpting, it's
yeah.
fine. You can use
And do you
whatever.
usually sit down or do you stand?
Yeah, I'm sitting down
Sitting down.
all the
Okay.
time. I couldn't. Maybe it would be better for my health if I was like sitting up,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I'm lazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, I wish like 3D they would start introducing maybe some kind of VR support with their tools and maybe do some kind of VR room, right? With some simple tools where you could just jump and do a similar thing.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, yeah. So they have the ability to do to use all the richness of the 3D code tools and apply them in the voxels. They have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one thing I wish Medium had was more of the 3D code tools because there's some
yeah,
really cool ones like
yeah.
the stuff to make like surfaces on top of
Yeah, I
surfaces
was
or
thinking like a blob tool, like
yeah,
or
yeah,
like 2D paint. Yeah,
Vox
to do-
layer, stuff like that.
yeah. Oh,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like I
yeah,
still
yeah,
really love
yeah.
3D codes. Like I was teaching a 3D code class at some point,
Oh, really?
and I was using it as my main
Mhm.
tool for work, and
Yeah,
I love the software, but like
yeah,
just the VR aspect of Medium is
yeah,
what's getting.
yeah, yeah. No, no, it's really interesting. And for me, yeah, I really should go and try it and maybe combine medium and 3D code to get a bit of a polish for the concept. For the environments, I do like that in 3D code you can do like a destruction, right? Pretty easy. So if you need to do something like it's old temple
Yeah,
or something wooden, something like that, then it's 3D code can be pretty fast. But yeah, of course, in Blender you can scale it really fast. And,
yeah. In
yeah,
Medium, there's still stuff to do like um rocks if you want to do
mhm,
more organic stuff. Like
yeah,
you can import whatever mesh you want in here and then
yeah,
use it as a brush, right? So you can still
yeah,
do really good organic stuff.
yeah.
I
Oh
do
yeah,
mechanical stuff because that's what I like doing.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
there's some people making like crazy sculpts, like
Yeah.
faces and creatures and all that stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting. I think I'm also more of like I guess surface so guy. Uh, because it's like for me, like for sculpting, I still think like ZBrush is still there.
Yep.
Still had to beat how good it is for just regular organic sculpting. And so what do you do right now? Is it really different from what you do for work? So this is like more your personal projects, which you can then maybe even use for NFTs and such, or work stuff is fairly similar.
Stuff that I do at work, it's not as futuristic in terms of
Mhm.
subject matter, but in terms of technique, it's the same. In terms of tools, the same.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I can talk about it because the game is not
Yeah,
out
I
yet.
understand.
But
Yeah,
the
it really just like in general terms, like I think, yeah.
yeah, in general
Uh,
terms, it's still like mechanical stuff and then
yeah,
vehicles and props
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
boxes.
I think this moment maybe we can just talk about some vague subject. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about AI now. This is like everybody want to talk about it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, let's talk about AI a little bit.
For
So
sure.
Andrea, the current I think you gave a pretty good, interesting demo about how it works and for people. I think right now, I think like everybody's discussing, and I wanted to get your opinion as well. Is the AI stuff? I
Yeah,
was
for
just
sure.
yesterday. I was talking, not talking. I was looking at the Stable Diffusion for 3D. Now they do the 3D
Yeah.
models.
Oh man, I was waiting for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. That's just text input actually. Like say a frog riding a motorcycle, something like that, and they get a frog and a motorcycle, which is full on 3D. I think I get like a 3D morphing model from different type of motorcycles. They morph
Oh
into each
yeah,
other.
as a mesh.
Yeah, the mesh, the mesh.
Oh nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wonder. I really don't know what to think about it. To be honest, I'm still thinking like, how will it affect the whole industry? Uh, I hope it'll be then a positive thing that we'll be able to just do more content, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like with the games, uh, is you'll still get the artists who will be just producing 10 times more content for the games. Uh, so the end user, the gamer will get a lot more stuff happening. In
Yeah, I think
his
it's a really good tool and it allows people to just make more stuff. And
yeah,
also it
yeah,
raises the bar for like people don't need to learn a ton of stuff before
mhm,
they can start making cool shit,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
in my opinion good. Like I get when people are upset because it's stealing the style of whatever person, but
yeah,
in my eyes, it's just another tool. Like when people discovered, photo bashing and all that
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
it's the
yeah,
same thing. And
yeah,
then people who are doing concept in 3D and it's like, oh, you're cheating because you're using
yeah,
3D. I
yeah,
mean, at the end of the day, our job is production and it's not
yeah,
just art.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you use the tool
Yeah.
to make something cool, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of elements, especially if it's talking about the game. There's so many elements that go into the production. It's just okay, just an image doesn't do everything. Uh, but the one thing I was actually hoping originally like that they would start doing optimization like AI. Can it just do it? Can it do so that all the low poly models are done automatically and all the like UVs are done
Yes,
nicely automatically?
that would be great.
Yeah,
Please use AI to do retopo and auto
yeah,
UVs. Like
yes,
we're person that
uh,
can figure that out and make it
yeah.
work well is gonna be so rich, dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because people just have such a drain on everything, and people hate that part of the job.
Yeah.
Uh, but again, it's kind of funny when people start be protective about those jobs. Like there's like the most boring parts of 3D production. That
Yeah.
I mean, it's already been like outsourced probably. Well, again, I don't want to ask that
Oh,
about
for
the
sure it
company,
is
but
outsourced.
yeah,
Mm.
so many companies just outsource it to other developing countries
Yep, for sure.
all the time.
And I
So
think with AI, it's just gonna remove some of these jobs, right? Because you don't necessarily need a concept artist to
yeah,
design a trash can. You can just
yeah, yeah.
say, oh, make me a trash can
Uh,
or make me like a
yeah,
lamppost.
yeah,
So some of these, I guess, lower like less fun
props.
job are just gonna
Yeah,
get replaced
uh,
by
yeah,
the AI. But at the end of the day, you still need to tell the AI what to do and then use it to make something cool and then also pick what's good because
mhm,
you can crank so much stuff out with
mhm,
AI, but you still need to tell like, oh, this is a good one. I
yeah,
can
yeah,
use
yeah,
that to make something else.
yeah,
And then you need to give the concept to a modeler and then
yeah,
the modeler needs to
yeah,
animate it. And then there's so much pipeline and it's not just oh, I make cool art.
Yeah,
You know,
the only thing I was like a bit concerned is like if it makes for beginners to get, it will be a bit harder for them to get into it, because for us it'll be, yeah, it's irrelevant, but for beginners, because now for them maybe the entrance bar is a bit higher, because they need to produce a high quality work with
yeah,
the
sure, but it
AI.
also
Yeah,
makes it easier for beginners because they also have access at those tools.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you
No, true.
you can have somebody that's really creative in their head, but they don't have
Yeah,
the skills, and then they just
yeah,
have a huge bump into
yeah.
their skill now, and then they can learn to draw, and then you be even better. You know?
Yeah, I think you're correct. Yeah, especially when you go to some kind of VR chats, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can see people some crazy creative ideas like this. I've never thought about that. Like, they just come up with this, I don't know, crazy skins with like a cloud of smiley faces.
Yeah, for
Wow,
sure.
wow, I'm like, imagine if they go give those people a VR, AI tool to create something
Yeah.
totally super bizarre and interesting.
I think the people that
Uh,
are worried about AI stealing their jobs are
yeah,
probably not focusing on the good part of it,
it's a good
of
part of the
the
job.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
making fan art is cool and
yeah,
all, but it's not as sustainable maybe
yeah,
than, production
yeah,
of video games, or like fresh IPs, I guess.
yeah, yeah. Uh, and yeah, and I think for me, I was always looking what's the future of the technology, right? So what's going to be
Yep.
automatic, right? So if you go into some kind of thing that's super technical right now, or like super slow, right? So sometimes look at the simulation, and simulation is still super slow.
Yep.
If and it's like, oh, I want to play with water and all that, but it's like caching gigabytes of data, and it's like so slow, and it's like instead of say waiting for simulation to run for 50 hours, I can learn something else for 50 hours and be
Yeah, for sure.
more proficient. Yeah, and that's I was thinking about this traditional artists who are just doing the traditional art, getting kind of like really good sculptors, like really good concept artists, and then it's actually for them it gets easier and easier to transfer to 3D and technical jobs of to transition that fundamental skills,
Yeah,
right?
for
So
sure.
yeah,
I saw an artist is really good painter, and then he used AI. He made a cool AI drawing, and then he
yeah,
repainted the whole thing with
yeah,
oil.
yeah,
So it still made an absolutely insanely cool painting, but it
yeah,
comes from AI. But he just repainted all of it just to show that he's capable of doing it.
yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, interesting times. I'm really curious what's going to be like in 10 years, like that's like,
It's gonna be
because
crazy. That's why
yeah,
I think it's important to jump on it right now. And then
yeah,
same thing with
uh,
VR, right? It's
yeah,
it's a cool new technology, and I think it's important to try to learn it and then see where it
mhm,
goes, because mm, y- people are upset about the AI, but it's not going anywhere. Like,
yeah,
it's just gonna keep going and going, and it's gonna be like a huge thing. So might as well just
yeah,
jump on it right now and then figure
yeah,
out how it works.
yeah,
And you know,
yeah. Uh, but I remember, yeah, when I had my first job, like say 11 years ago on an animation studio, and I was a texture artist. I was like looking at the stuff we were doing, and I was like, how it's not really scalable. Like you cannot hire, like we had like 150 people. You cannot hire more and more artists to texture some props. And it was like, say, like a few years later, like Substance Painter came up, and Substance Painter made everything like that, like 50 times faster.
yep,
The stuff that we're doing in Photoshop. So and I said, oh, okay, let's like this there's always some kind of solution to produce more content, make it faster. uh, for example, right now, like say I work with some Unreal stuff, and to do a setting of a dress setting is like putting props around is really time consuming, right? Like
yep, for
putting
sure.
a lamppost, a trash can, a pile of dirt takes hours. I mean, I think I was watching another video from Ubisoft. They have like some automation of that. They have like say tools that can spread the forest along the road,
Yep,
and they
yeah, I saw that
can
too.
yeah can help you out with that. But again, it's like one of those stuff that's really quite annoying and super time consuming.
Yeah, but
And
I hope
uh,
that the tools help people get more creative and
yeah,
removes all the
yeah,
technical side of it, and then the boring part, and then people can focus on what they enjoy doing, like
mhm,
you know creating designs or storytelling or
Yeah.
building worlds and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. Uh, yeah, I don't really know what else to ask. I think it was a really interesting overview of Medium, and I'll definitely need to get a Quest headset finally and try it, and maybe do a combination of Medium and 3D Code to show best of both worlds. All right, Andrew, thank you for coming.
Of course.
Yeah. And you're in Quebec, right? Are you in Montreal?
Yeah, I'm in Montreal
Yeah.
right now.
All right, man. Thank you, and
It's been a pleasure.
good luck. Yeah, thank you.
So here we did have a little off-topic personal conversation. Meanwhile, he just kept on sculpting all this robot, and I was really quite curious to see his process. Just carry on building the elements, and introduced the one thing I really enjoyed, and he showed was using the glowing tool to paint some of the lights on the robot. I personally got really interested in trying Adobe Medium VR myself and see how it can work together in a combination. And I'm also curious about your opinion. Just leave a comment in the comment section if you have tried it and how you feel about it compared to 3D Code. And meanwhile, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.